The last update for today that we'll have time for has to do with a column that appeared on the Washington Post June 12th, 2021, written by Christine Emba. The Washington Post is owned by Jeffrey Bezos, and Jeffrey Bezos, as you know, is America's richest man, a billionaire, among the very, very richest people on this planet. And I'm going to come back to that in a minute. Christine Emba's column, she's a regular columnist for the Washington Post, therefore an employee of Jeffrey Bezos, is to advocate banning billionaires. We should not have billionaires, says Christina. I find this extraordinary. First of all, let's give credit where it's due. On October 15th of 2019, during a Democratic Party presidential debate, yeah, that's right, Bernie Sanders advocated exactly that. So, that's interesting. 2 years ago, we had this idea, and now it's resurfacing only inside a billionaire's newspaper. What is going on here? Well, let's ask ourselves a question. It's called in economics opportunity cost. Here's how opportunity cost works. You ask the question, what is the cost to us of having money not used for something? In other words, here's a bunch of money, it's being used for X. But the cost of using it for X could be understood as what do we do without because we're not using it for Y. $200 billion, roughly, is the personal wealth of Jeffrey Bezos, who owns the Washington Post. The fact that Jeffrey Bezos has those $200 billion, let's ask, what's the opportunity cost? What could the United States of America, everyone, including Jeffrey Bezos, have if he didn't have that money personally, but we had it available to do fill in the blank? Well, it occurred to me as I prepared this segment that you might not have in your mind what it means to have $200 billion. So let me explain. If you have that kind of money, you don't have the time or the knowledge to manage it properly. You're busy doing other things. Jeffrey Bezos, for example, is sitting in a position of power in Amazon Corporation, as you know, and he's also planning to send a rocket to the moon and so forth. So he gives a hedge fund the $200 billion. Let's assume the hedge fund delivers 5% per year on that with the investments they make. They promise more, by the way, but so this is very modest. Well, 5% a year, I did the math, that's what we economists do, works out to, get ready, $200 million a week, every week for 52 weeks a year. Let me make that clear. $200 million a week. That means every month, roughly, he gets another billion on top of his $200 billion. Because 5 weeks will $200 million a week. That gives you the billion. Are you with me? Okay. This is enormous wealth that could be doing fantastic improvements to our society. But we don't get them because we allow billionaires.